Teams from Keystone, Norwalk, and Alliance meet on the Nordson Academic Challenge.
Welcome to the Nordson Academic Challenge. And now, here's your host from News 5, Rob Powers.
Good morning, everybody. I am Rob Powers. Welcome to the 53rd season of the Nordson Academic Challenge. Today, the challenge is simple. 3 local high school teams compete for points by answering questions, math, science, history, other topics as well. The top 5 scoring teams this season will share in a total of $20,000 in grant money from Nordson. The top 3 then will come back for our championship finale. And that's where a grant of $6,000 is up for grabs. We get it started this morning where we start every week with the lightning round. All 3 teams compete in this round. We award 10 points for a correct answer. We'll subtract 10 points for an incorrect answer or no answer. Let's start every team with 100 points. Everybody ready? Court is in session. These are important questions. They're all about the Supreme Court. Identify the following, all concerned with the highest court in the land. The current Supreme Court has this many members. Alliance.
9.
9 is correct. He is the current Chief Justice. Alliance.
John Roberts.
That is correct. The court was established by this number article of the Constitution. Answer, Norwalk.
3rd.
3rd is correct. She was the first woman appointed to the court. Answer, Keystone.
Sandra Day O'Connor.
That is correct. He was the first African-American appointed to the court. Alliance.
Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall is correct. Chief Justice John Marshall wrote the decision in McCulloch versus this state. Alliance.
Maryland.
That is correct. This 1954 case eliminated school segregation. Keystone.
Brown v. Board.
That is correct. This Chief Justice had previously been our 27th president. Keystone.
Taft.
Taft is correct. The court traditionally begins each term in the 10th month of the year. Alliance.
October.
October is correct. And for our final lightning round question, here's the Director of External Relations from the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage, Dahlia Fisher.
During the pandemic, we all had to be creative in reaching out to the community. And at the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage, we were delighted that over 20,000 people attended our special exhibition about what Supreme Court Justice who died in 2020, a woman known affectionately as the notorious RBG.
Alliance.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
That is correct, and that's the end of our round. We'll be back with more Nordson Academic Challenge right after this.
Nordson is honored to sponsor a program that celebrates academic excellence. We're a global industrial technology company with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. We donate 5% of our U.S. pre-tax profit to charity every year. Over the past 30 years, the Nordson Corporation Foundation has donated more than $100 million, and our employees have volunteered more than 100,000 hours. And now, we're pleased to support the legacy of Academic Challenge. Thank you all for watching, and the best of luck to all the participants.
Today's judge from Cuyahoga Community College is Dr. Orman Brathwaite. Dr. Brathwaite, thank you so much for being here. And we welcome you back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. We're going to jump right back into the game now. It's time for hot picks. One at a time, I'll ask each team 8 questions. Correct response here in this round is worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Our first team comes to us today from Keystone. Keystone High School is located in Lorain County in the village of LaGrange. The school offers 21 College Credit Plus classes through Lorain County Community College, including the Building IT Futures program and 3 AP classes. The school has a wide array of sports and clubs, including Academic Challenge, National Honor Society, and STEM Club. For your questions, Isabella from Norwalk, envelope 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Number 4, please.
Number 4. All right, Keystone, these questions just for you. Set? Here we go. Both Islam's prophet Muhammad and the biblical David were saved by what arachnids, which spun webs outside caves where each was hiding?
Spider?
That is correct. It was Francois Champollion who finally deciphered the writing on what stone that gave us the key to understanding Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Rosetta Stone.
That is correct. NASA arranged for a small fragment of the Wright brothers' first plane be aboard the spaceship making a 300 million mile journey to what red planet?
Mars.
That is correct. To the monitor, here's your science question. Which of these terms best describes the reaction between hydronium ions and hydroxyl ions to form water?
Neutralization.
That is correct. In Homer's Odyssey, the enchantress Circe had a nasty habit of turning people into what porcine animals? Answer? Pigs. Pigs. Okay. In addition to his arithmetic skills, mathematician Charles Dodgson could count on his literary talent when he published Alice in Wonderland under what pen name? Answer is Lewis Carroll. It's all right. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. What is the value of x in this equation?
3.
3 is correct. With today's deficits, a $61 billiard table wouldn't even be noticed, but it caused an uproar during the administration of what 6th president?
Monroe.
John Quincy Adams is what we're going there for. All right, Keystone, good job. Good job. Okay. Our second team this morning comes to us from Norwalk, located in Huron County. Norwalk High School has over 800 students, a holistic curriculum of honors, AP courses, CCP courses too, in American history, math, computer science, many others. Norwalk also offers a wide range of extracurriculars, including National Honor Society and the Nerd Nation robotic team. Wow, we're going to have to talk about that. For your questions, we go to Alliance. Carolyn, 1, 2, or 3?
3, please.
Number 3. All right, Norwalk, these questions just for you. Set? Here we go. The Greek prophet Tiresias could read the future, but he couldn't have read a book before the invention of Braille because he suffered from what affliction?
Blind.
That is correct. Eugene Shoemaker stepped into history when he and David Levy discovered what sort of celestial body similar to the one associated with Edmund Halley?
Comet.
That is correct. In 1517, the French King Francis I paid the equivalent of 92 ounces of gold for what famous Da Vinci portrait of a smiling woman?
Mona Lisa.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. In the fermentation of sugar, the main products formed would be alcohol and which of these?
Starch.
Carbon dioxide is the answer. Santa has his elves, but the Greek god Hephaestus was assisted by what group of one-eyed giants, such as Polyphemus?
Cyclopses.
That is correct. Although prejudice is not one of the 7 deadly sins, a Jane Austen title links it to what egotistical feeling that is one of the 7?
Pride.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Find the value of this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
10.
10 is correct. The Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity at Allegheny College has mementos of what famous pledge who would be elected our 25th president in 1869? See the wheel spinning.
McKinley.
McKinley is correct, Norwalk. Way to go. All right. Our third team today comes to us from Alliance High School, home of the Aviators. It offers an extensive college preparatory program, career and tech prep programs, as well as general studies. For your questions, we come all the way back to Keystone. Noah, we have 1 and 2 left.
1.
Number 1. Alliance, these questions just for you. Set? Here we go. A town in New Hampshire has a memorial honoring the dogs that Admiral Byrd took with him when he explored what coldest continent?
Antarctica.
That is correct. Flying mare is not a description of the mythical Pegasus, but rather a technique used in what sport whose styles include sumo and Greco-Roman?
Wrestling.
That is correct. The mythical Daedalus created an amazing structure after King Minos hired him to design what maze for the Minotaur?
Labyrinth.
That is correct. To the monitor, science question. Which of these terms best describes a gene that shows little or no effect when in the presence of its dominant Allele.
Recessive.
That is correct. While searching for the fabulously rich city of the sun, Pizarro stumbled upon a city with roofs of gold in what Peruvian Indian empire?
Inca.
That is correct. Sweets to the sweet, says Queen Gertrude as she places flowers on the grave of Ophelia in what Shakespeare tragedy set in Denmark?
Hamlet.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. What value of x satisfies this equation?
4.
2. 2 is the answer. The Warren Commission that investigated the assassination of John F. Kennedy included what Michigan congressman who later succeeded Richard Nixon as president?
Ford.
Gerald Ford is the answer. That's a good round right there. And that's the end of it, too. We'll be back with more questions and more answers right after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we start the next round, we're going to take a look at the scores so far. In third place right now with 230 points, the team from Keystone. In second place with 250 points, the team from Norwalk. And leading the way right now with 300 points is the team from Alliance. But hold on. Now we go head-to-head again in our picture-perfect round. Each correct answer here worth 10 points. But for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 10 points. Again, this is for all three teams. Hands on your buzzer, eyes on the big monitor here. Everybody set? Here we go. This helmet was worn by what astronaut who followed Keystone?
Yuri Gagarin.
John Glenn. John Glenn. A type of grouper, this blue-spotted fish, is named for what mythical watchman who had 100 eyes? Answer? Argus. Argus. This 1905 photograph shows ships anchored near Seattle in what body of water called a sound that's an inlet? Alliance.
Puget Sound.
That is correct. What is the average of these three expressions? Alliance.
X plus 2.
That is correct. Robert Morris helped finance the American Revolution but later went bankrupt, buying land made available through what ordinance of 1780? Alliance.
Northwest Ordinance.
Excuse me?
Northwest Ordinance.
That is correct. These were the insightful words of what abolitionist who published the North Star newspaper? Answer is Frederick Douglass. This peaceful painting of Lady in a Garden was completed in what year that saw the sinking of Titanic? Alliance.
1912.
That is correct. One article in this issue of Cleveland Magazine noted the benefits of bats, which use a high-frequency navigation system better known by what acronym? Norwalk.
EC.
Sonar. Sonar is what we're going for there. Sound, navigation, and ranging. Sonar. Okay, so we will be back with more Nordson Academic Challenge right after this. Time now to welcome the team advisors from Keystone. It's Tom Havenick. From Norwalk, Angela Farmer. And from Alliance, it's Brianna Belke. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for everything you do for our kids. Thanks a lot. All right. Time now for our Mix It Up round, one at a time. I'll ask each team 6 questions here. A correct response worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. First up, the team from Keystone. All set? Here we go. Select one word from each column. You'll get the name given to what all-powerful leader in George Orwell's novel 1984?
Big Brother.
That is correct. The letters in this anagram can be rearranged to name what royal dynasty that ruled Austria and Austria-Hungary until 1918.
Habsburg.
That is correct. Here are 3 important events in American history. Arrange them in chronological order.
Reconstruction, World War I, Persian Gulf War.
That is correct. What same word here will complete titles by Michael Crichton and Aldous Huxley?
World.
World is correct. X will not be an unknown quantity if you tell me which of these X-initialed people was a king in ancient Persia.
Xerxes.
That is correct, and that's big. This is for the bonus points. This bit of insight comes from what colonial statesman who dispensed knowledge in Poor Richard's Almanac?
Benjamin Franklin.
That is correct for the bonus points. Way to go, Keystone. Okay. Norwalk. All set? Just for you. Take one word from each column to name what Dickens character, the crippled boy who's Bob Cratchit's son in A Christmas Carol.
Tiny Tim.
That is correct. Rearrange the letters here to get what 19th century doctrine with a two-word name that justified expanding the United States to the West Coast. Answer?
Manifest Destiny.
That is correct. These three persons lived at different times. They're associated with different religions. Arrange them in correct chronological order.
Mother Teresa, Brigham Young, Martin Luther.
Luther, Young, Teresa. Sorry about that. What same word placed in the blanks here will give you the titles of books by William Golding and J.R.R. Tolkien?
Lord.
That is correct. Which of these taxes was the subject of the 16th Amendment?
Income.
That is correct. An American novelist wrote this description of Acadia National Park in what largest and northernmost New England state? Answer?
Maine.
Maine is it. Yes, you are correct. Way to go, Norwalk. Just under the wire. All right, Alliance. We wrap it up with you. Set? Here we go. With one word from each column, you can name what Arabian Nights character who outwitted 40 thieves.
Alibaba.
That is correct. Try to rearrange these letters. You will name what last battle of the Revolutionary War that ended with the surrender of General Cornwallis.
Yorktown.
That is correct. In the history of colonial America, these events occurred in what chronological order?
Mayflower, Jamestown, Salem.
Jamestown, Mayflower, Salem. Sorry about that. What same word should you place in the blanks to complete titles of books by Leo Tolstoy and John Knowles?
Peace.
That is correct. Which of these men founded the state of Georgia as a refuge for debtors?
Oglethorpe.
That is correct. These words come from the introduction to what reference book published in 1828 by Noah Webster?
Webster's Dictionary.
The dictionary, of course. Way to go, Alliance. Another good round. That's the end of that round. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag round. It all comes to a close after this.
To stay up to date on everything academic, visit us online at news5cleveland.com/academic challenge and watch full episodes on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and other devices.
Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we continue, we've got a good game here. We're going to recap the scores for you right now. This is how tight it is. In third place right now with 340 points, the team from Norwalk. In second place with 365 points is the team from Keystone. Leading the way, at least so far, 440 points, the team from Alliance. But anything can happen. It's time for the grab bag round. In this free-for-all, each correct answer is worth 20 points, but a team will lose 20 points for a wrong answer or no answer. We've got some visual questions too. They're worth 30 points. Be careful with this because an incorrect answer will still cost you 30 points. Again, this is for all three teams. Hands on the buzzer, eyes on the monitor when we need it. Everybody set? Here we go. Some literary works begin with a prologue, but what other word names the opening section of the Constitution, which starts Alliance?
Preamble.
That is correct. After the Flood is the subtitle of a book about what devastating hurricane that hit Alliance?
Katrina.
That is correct. The last novel in the Hunger Games trilogy is what bird? Norwalk.
Mockingjay.
That is correct. A species of cave-dwelling crocodiles lives on what huge island off the coast of East Africa? Alliance.
Madagascar.
That is correct. Construction of the Tower of London began during the reign of what man who became King of England after winning the Battle of Hastings in 1066? Keystone.
William the Conqueror.
That is correct. Choice. Ordinary sand is an oxide of what element also used to make lubricants? Carbon, titanium, or silicon? Alliance.
Silicon.
That is correct. To combat climate change, a massive tree planting project involving 68 villages is now underway in what second most populous country in the world? Keystone?
India.
India is correct. These are the words of what man who didn't have to worry about the dangers of success as he lost the disputed 1876 election to Rutherford B. Hayes? Keystone.
Samuel Tilden.
That is correct. If a straight angle is trisected equally, how many degrees are there in each alliance?
60 degrees.
60 degrees is correct. The U.S. Marine Corps monument depicts the Mount Suribachi flag raising on what Pacific island? Keystone.
Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima is correct. Jeffrey Crayon was one of the pen names drawn on by what American author who wrote such colorful stories as Rip Van Winkle? Answer is Washington Irving. This lovely beach is in what small South Pacific island country where Suva is the capital? Answer? The answer there is Fiji. That's our final buzzer. We go to the scoreboards. Let's take a look. In third place this morning with 360 points, the team from Norwalk. In second place with 455 points is the team from Keystone. And winning this morning's academic challenge with 550 points is the team from Alliance. Way to go. Good game, everybody, good game. Be sure to join us next time. We'll feature teams from Holy Name, Lexington, and Northwest. That was a fun one today. I'm Rob Powers. We'll see you right back here soon for another Nordson Academic Challenge.
This has been the Nordson Academic Challenge.